stream, folks. See how long this is gonna take. That's right. But it's what's going down right now. You know? I don't know. What's up, River Rat? What's up, Rock? Yep, nothing's disappeared. You have a wrench, nothing disappeared. I can't even begin to tell you what's coming through. Actually, a couple people ran it. No, not this bridge. We'll find out. We got extra time. That guy thought he was going to run it. Nope. He came ripping around like he was making his big old right turn. And bazinga! What do you mean clickbait? It's going down, man. Ain't no clickbait. I don't do clickbait. It's going down, man. It's going down the river. That's right. Here it comes, folks. There it is. It's going down the river, folks. Yup. Now what you gonna do when this really long shit runs wild on you? Oh, it's a little tiny thing. Yup. Little tiny crane, folks. We'll be rolling here any second now. Yup. Yup, look it, that was it. Little tiny thing. Yup. Roll out. Roll out. Got to roll out. It's on 40. To roll out. The roll out. Do do do. As coachisms can tell, I don't know the words to any of these friggin' songs. But roll out. The roll out. The bridge is going down. It's going down, folks. Told you. You didn't believe me. You didn't believe me, folks. But I flat out told you. Yup. Tough guy over there in his Beamer, though. Hey, you love it. Woo! Yup. Drives you crazy. I know it. Please of Yeah Man singing. Yup. Yup. Clip it all. Yup. Where's Elvis? Maybe he's on the other side of the bridge. But here it is, folks. It's going down. Down, down, down. What other songs is there with the word down in it? Yup. She goes down, down, down. I don't know, something like that. We'll write some, folks. How about that? Yup. Yeah, man. Here's some guy on a bike. He thinks he's just gonna keep pedaling. No, 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 no. Oh boy. Yeah, he better stop. Yeah, he got off. Oh, look at this. He's actually. That's messed up. I'd be meeting him on the other side, have words with that guy. That sounds illegal to me. Round and round. Would you finally reach out and give it time? Round and round. Listen, Elvis is going to tell you, and you're going to learn, folks, what it is when corporate America wants you. Woo! That's right. That's right, folks. Corporate America. They're going to want it. They want the Lisa Marie, folks. He ain't got time for that. There's a pandemic going on. Woo! Let me tell you something, brother. Back there in the jungle room, I'm going to take Whiskey OG for 60 minutes, baby. Woo! You hear me there, Rosie O'Kelly? Yeah, that wasn't bad, folks. Yeah, over there. Gotta jump it. Woo! Oh, yeah. Oh, no, he's going that way again, folks. Yeah, let's go check out the trains, folks. Yeah, everything is Beetlejuice. She has a wrench, coach. She's not being blocked. She ain't being nothing. She sounds like Mama Elmo right now. I don't fall for that BS. Oh, look at that place. Wonder what they sell in there. Got me wondering. Big Dog! What up, Big Dog? Welcome to the stream, buddy! Beautiful Michigan skies today. Sun shining through. Oh, I don't know. He ain't been there in a while. He don't like her no more. Yup, like Bergs. They don't like her. That's their loss. Oh, your two favorite YouTubers, huh? Okay, I'm friends with Rosie. I'm actually friends with both of them. Oh, there's big rocks up in these, up on this train. Those are rocks. Big rocks. Wow. There's actually some stuff going on here today. These guys are working out here today. Well, it is Monday, y'all. This guy up here on that thing, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, look at that. What the hell is that? I don't know. Very interesting. Yeah. Who's the most hated on YouTube? I don't know. Dave the Fisherman gets a rap. I mean, I don't hate him. It's all good. They got some cool stuff going on out here. Check them boogies out. Yup, look at that. That's interesting looking. Look at that. You don't see this stuff every day, folks. Yup. Maybe they're maintenance in the tracks. Who knows? Yup. Yep. Very interesting. Yep. Useless Union Hall over there on the right. Just useless. It's a Dearborn. It's Dearborn Ham Factory. Sausage, whatever. They make it all. Shitty roads of Michigan here. Dearborn, Detroit area. More beautiful trains. This bumpy ass road. Oh, an orange van. That looks pretty cool. There's a couple of them. Oh, there's the famous Mustang Inn, folks. Yep. There it is, right there. Check it out. Check it out. Double X servers, folks. Yeah, but you also can get that half-pound ground round burger. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep, right there at the Mustang. I don't talk about our RV Davey on this channel. I appreciate you change the subject. Yep. Look at those stacks. Those are the paint stacks, folks. Yep. Of the Rouge Paint Department. Look at that. That's a shot for a sunset right there, folks. That certainly is a beautiful shot for a sunset. Oh, yeah? That's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, well. What's White Tupac done wrong, you know? I don't think he's done too much. Well, let's check it out. Let's see if any illegals hanging out, folks. Illegals like to hang out at my job. You know, they're Canadian illegals. Yep. Now we gotta wait for the traffic light. Oh wow, look at this. Is that a Charger? That's an Explorer. Look at that. Oh, old Sport Track. With the bike on the back. Dearborn Truck Plant main entrance. Ooh, that's a brand new sign, folks. I heard they put up a lot of signs. So let's go slow. Let's check this out. Because, like, people delivery now, Dearborn Truck Plant employee parking lot. All right, Dearborn Truck Plant final assembly employee parking lot. Yep, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. But my parking lot sign is way down here. Could you believe that? Why wouldn't you think it'd be back there? Look, right there, right there, right there. Read it. There it is. Yeah. But why would you put it way down the road? I honestly would have thought it would have been back there on one of those other signs with an arrow pointing straight ahead. That defeats the purpose of it being 50 feet, 100 feet down the road. All right. Oh! Look at! They're trying to steal that car. So I scared them off. They was trying to rob that car, folks. Illegals, man, I'm telling you. They was trying to rob that car. There's a Ford Ranger. A Ford Ranger, man! See how bad or how good or how whatever, but I ain't going way down there today. There we go. There we go. Oh, that's them. Yep, right over there. Well, rock and roll nomad, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I ain't got a problem with it. I don't know. I live here, bro. Appreciate the way you talk about my state.
Program will expire either when the funds are exhausted or 6 months after the COVID-19 health emergency is declared over.
Homes on tribal lands receive a higher $75 monthly benefit. Information and applications are available at getemergencybroadband.org. Out there on the roadways, still looking at some heavy delays northbound 75 between Holbrook and the Davison because of that road construction. The crash we had Southfield Freeway southbound at Plymouth that is cleared. And Jefferson Avenue, there, that bridge over the Rouge River, the drawbridge is still up. Patchy frost tonight, a low of 38, cloudy and breezy tomorrow, maybe some showers, a high.
And we just went over the other drawbridge, folks.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Elsa Chang.
And I'm Ari Shapiro. Dawn Richard grew up in New Orleans. Her father sang in a funk band called Chocolate Milk. He still does. As a kid, she was kind of alternative.
All right,
I had my
Coachism.
Jinko jeans and I was ready to go. Like,
We'll
that
see you
was
later,
natural
buddy.
to me, right? I had blue and green hair, young, anime shirts when I was young.
And her musical tastes wandered far from her father's style.
I grew up loving Chris Cunningham, Aphex Twin, Portishead, Bjork, Imogen Heap. You know, Green Day was my first concert.
Richard dreamed of being a pop star. That path first led her to a reality TV show that birthed the group Danity Kane.
When I got in the line to do Danity Kane and do Making the Band, I had no idea that me wanting to be in a pop girl group as a black woman would be as hard as it was, right? You were the little black token girl, and then going from that to being in a predominantly black group where you're a chocolatey girl sitting next to your boss.
Your boss, Diddy.
Yeah, Diddy, exactly. And you're thinking you're about to change something, right? In 2011, I thought Diddy Dirty Money was the most innovative idea. You had 3 black chocolatey people, you know, being influenced by Ibiza. I just thought that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever been in, and nobody bid it. So much so that Diddy didn't believe we should go on with it. And he stopped it.
When Diddy Dirty Money ended, Dawn Richard set off on her own as an independent artist, creating a style that she says she's been zeroing in on her whole life. Her new album is called Second Line, an electro revival.
Electro
Second
revival.
Line is a reference to her hometown of New Orleans.
You know, for us, you think of Second Line, you think of a brass band, what we do when we dance for funerals. I didn't want to necessarily do the traditional brass band. I chose to do it in a different way, and what you get is this really cool melting pot of dance cultures put into one record, and that's Bust It For Me.
She really do it like she get in the G-side system like like the way she rock didn't hate. Southern girls do it better than you take the feet. Setting up a post hole if you take a seat. Buzz it for me. Buzz it for me. Buzz it for me. Buzz it for me.
The actual definition when you think about New Orleans and second lining is there are no set steps. It's literally like you watch people celebrate legacy in their own way. And I love that about New Orleans. We don't give you rules. So why should my music have rules, right?
You know, in the year 2021, we have at our fingertips.
Here comes the
people
copyright.
making music from all over the world. And a track will be reinterpreted by people on TikTok in different continents. So, in this moment, do you think that the connection between place and sound has become weaker than it used to be? Like, does it matter if somebody is a Houston or a New Orleans or a DC or an LA musician?
Place may not play a factor in where you're from with music, but I do believe that color is still playing a factor in how we are put in our genres.
An opportunity for us.
Me as a black woman, anytime I do music that resembles anything different, I can't get past alternative R&B because people don't let us sit in different spaces. And let is a strong word. We are not able to sit in the spaces that I think we want to see ourselves in. If you're indie rock or folk or heavy metal and you're black or a person of color.
So
it's a harder
basically,
life.
what they're explaining
Some of
to
the tracks
you
on this album, you talk
is if
specifically
you're
about
a
industry
musical
and
artist
it's like I'm thinking of Radio Free.
Yeah.
and you're black, you better stick to black music, I guess, because
This lyric, like,
they're just making it out
Outside
that
records need help. They say she not
racist.
She failed. They only love her. She makes
can't be a
money.
pop singer because you're black. Even P. Diddy put it to her that way.
I know that. I was there.
That's just cruel and wrong. Yep.
And again, I get the system. I get the formula. Like, I understand.
But that's what this liberal radio wants to promote.
We are supposed to
They
make
want to keep
money.
plugging it
We
and
have to
plugging
do
it and plugging it, so everybody knows.
But I also
Or everybody still believes that we live in such a racist environment.
You do the things you're built to do, and then when you're not enough anymore, you're kind of cast aside. What happens when you are the actual product on the shelf and you've been forgotten about, and there's cobwebs on you, and you're kind of just sitting there like, okay, what's my purpose now? Like, what happens when the radio, the mainstream, the world that is force feeding, consumers, what happens when we lost? We say we're freedom now.
So when you look back at the time that you spent in this industry, like as a part of that machine, do you feel contempt or regret or gratitude? Like, what's the feeling?
For a girl like me who came from the lower ninth ward, I am forever grateful for the road I had. I will say, though, my road has not been the traditional one. We didn't have a lot of opportunity coming at that time. That was 2005 when I
No
did
Canadian
Dance
geese
Game.
today, just
I had to drive
seagulls.
to Orlando, Florida, to get in a line for making the band. That was the closest I could get to auditioning. There was nothing. The closest pop star that gave me
A lot of
any kind
seagulls.
inkling as to what I was going to be was Britney Spears from
There's
Canada.
always a
That
lot
was
of
the closest
seagulls.
from the
Look at 'em.
band
Oh,
that I
man.
had. There was nothing that looked like the design that I wanted for myself. So I had to figure that out on my own.
One of the tracks that talks about your journey out of the industry into
Yep, they all just went for a
an
swim.
artist is Morning Streetlights.
Mm.
Will you tell us about this?
Yeah, I think in order to know why I love the way I love, why I'm still doing this, like why do I choose music after all of this, you have to understand where I understand love to be, what I understand passion to be. And my
She's
mom
got a very
starts
nice
to
voice, I
recognize
tell you
she
that.
only loved one
She
person.
wants to be a pop singer. I want to be a pop
My mom
singer.
and dad met when they were 15 years old, and they've been together ever since.
The only time I've ever been in love.
Yep. Good beats, though.
I thought that was amazing. When she said that, I thought that was real. That tenacity and that kind of love of music, the way I love music, it only comes from the way my mom loves my dad. I only know love to be this grand thing.
Oh, yeah, folks.
truck that you established?
Vegan
You're
food
working with
truck.
Adult Swim.
There's always a plug going on
Expanding
here.
Their pool of animators to encompass more queer and black storytellers. What do all these things have in common?
It's the same message.
Wow, did that take a left turn
One person
from
helps the other.
racist pop star
And
haters
anytime I
to
can do that, I will, and it'll all be the same.
a food truck?
I want to be the voice for those who may not be able to speak out.
The voice. I'm the voice of Point Wrestling, folks.
Second line. Thank you for talking with us about it.
Thank you for having me.
Just wild things you hear on the liberal radio. Hey, Carolyn, thanks for the pop this morning. I appreciate that. You don't know how much. Yep.
You're listening to All Things Considered. from
You showed a few
NPR
people
News.
something there.
Support for NPR
Appreciate
comes
that.
from this
Appreciate
station
everybody
and
being
from
here today,
T-Mobile for
folks.
Business, dedicated to using unconventional thinking to help businesses
Yup.
realize new possibilities.
Yep, during my breakfast stream this morning, folks.
T-Mobile
Carolyn lit me up with just
unconventional
enough, folks. Just enough.
with the 2021 Subaru
Yep, she
Forester,
bought me my pop.
featuring standard symmetrical all-wheel
I didn't even realize
safety
that Pete
technology.
Purdy was drinking that coffee
Subaru.
either.
Learn more at Subaru.com.
Yep, I didn't even notice.
Personalized weight loss program based in psychology.
I thought that was
helping
funny.
people change their habits and to conquer their goals.
I got my coffee right now, though. I got me a Tim Hortons.
NOOM.com.
Yep,
And from the
much
sustaining
appreciated.
members of this
Always,
NPR
Carolyn.
station.
Yeah, we're listening to a little bit of liberal radio here. They hit their goal. We're getting a new antenna. We're going digital, whatever that is.
Diagnostic treatments. Enrollment is available anytime online at lifesmile.com.
This is 101
Pretty interesting.
DPTFM, Detroit's NPR station.
NPR.
Connection to news, music, and conversation.
Public
I'm
radio.
Mike Namara. Good afternoon.
Yep.
More All Things Considered. It's
All
coming up
things
next.
considered, folks.
Traffic is sponsored by the Michigan School of Psychology in Farmington Hills, offering a
And I think yesterday was the show Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. That's pretty funny. And you guys will recognize the voice. It's the Canadian guy with the white hair. If that tells you anything, people. But he's famous. But he's famous for, like, Rouge River Drawbridge is stuck up, folks. So we just went through the other, the 4th Street Bridge.
We are seeing a comeback, which we describe as not just a comeback, but we see a state that's roaring back.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is facing a recall election. Today I asked
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on with these elections and all this stuff that's been going on and more stuff that's going on. And
This is All Things Considered.
2024, Donald Trump will be the president again, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And
And I'm Elsa Chang, ahead of
there are no Canadian geese out tonight, today, this afternoon.
Though there's still a ways to go.
Depends on where you're at.
Would like to see us go back
Yep.
to pre-pandemic levels or quote-unquote normal times.
Yeah, I'd like to go back to that
Right out of the way.
quote unquote what they call normal times, folks. Look at that beautiful sky.
Post is their number 3 because of concerns over her ability to carry the message.
As conference chair, you have one of the most critical jobs of the messenger of going forward.
Plus, we remember rock and roll pioneer Lloyd Price. Now news.
Live from NPR News, I'm Jack Spear. In Gaza, health officials say Israeli military strikes have killed 20 Palestinians, including 9 children.
Wow.
It says it was targeting Hamas militants after a barrage of rockets
Hamas
were fired into
militants.
Israel, including 7 rockets towards Jerusalem. More from NPR's Daniel Estrom in Jerusalem.
The Israeli army said it could not immediately address reports of civilian deaths, but it said it targeted 3 Hamas militants in Gaza. This came after Hamas fired 7 rockets toward Jerusalem, causing more injuries. The military spokesman said they were bracing for a prolonged conflict with Gaza militants. Hamas comes amid violence and tension between Israelis and Palestinians in Jerusalem. Today, 700 Palestinians were reported wounded from clashes with Israeli police. Some Israeli civilians and police were injured too. Clashes with police come amid potential evictions of Palestinians from a Jerusalem neighborhood. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Jerusalem.
The shutdown of a major pipeline means gas prices will likely continue going up in several states in the eastern half of the U.S. Radio station WABE reports the disruption follows a cyber attack last night.
Yeah, Coaches was telling me about that, folks. That cyber attack.
While it investigates the cyber attack. Media reports say 4 actors are suspected. Voting all the fuel was paid. It hasn't said when it might be fully operational again. AAA says gas prices nationally have gone up 6 cents a gallon in the past week. Depending on the length of the shutdown, prices could go up another 3 to 7 cents over the next week. On the Gulf Coast and as far north as Delaware. NPR News, I'm Obama. Georgia has overhauled its Citizens Arrest law in the wake of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery last year. Republican Governor Brian Kemp signing a bill into law today. Member station WABE in Atlanta, Emma Hurt reports.
Georgia's the first state in the nation to repeal the vague law, which allows one citizen to arrest another. A bipartisan group of lawmakers passed the reform this year in Arbery's name. However, the law was in effect at the time of his death, so the men being prosecuted for his murder are using it as a defense. The federal arraignment and state hearings.
Oh, there we go.
In Atlanta. The Biden administration
Everybody left. Woo! I love it.
state and local governments as part of
You know why? Because they thought it was a clickbait title.
relief measure.
It's going down.
Payments could begin going out in coming
Well, the bridge did go down, folks, after it went up.
offset some
Yeah.
of the losses suffered as a result of the coronavirus pandemic.
It was what it is, folks.
Businesses closed
You
during
ain't
the
breaking.
pandemic.
Don't go breaking my heart.
Stocks started-
Nobody knows it. Nobody knows it.
The Nasdaq was down 300.
Nobody knows it. Don't go breaking my heart.
PR station.
Don't break it, my.
Other contributors include
I won't go breaking my heart. I won't go breaking.
A program that adjusts insurance rates based on safe driving habits. Now that's Progressive. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Traffic reports made possible by Compassion International.
It's 5:04. Good afternoon. I'm Russ McIntyre.
Yeah, that guy in that BMW, man, he thought he was going to pull up and go.
James Craig is resigning.
Guess it didn't work that way, baby.
He's considering his political future.
Well,
has led the Detroit Police
I gotta
Department.
clean
for
my
8
truck
years.
out, folks. It's
He had
getting
previous
bad.
stints as police chief in Cincinnati and Portland, Maine, and was an officer in Los Angeles for
One
90
person, who's staring? Who's watching it? Who's enjoying them clouds?
He says he's
A lot of
still
movement
considering
going
his
on over
future.
there, folks.
Yes, I am.
Oh, here comes Larry in the church, man.
I'm not ruling it out. At the appropriate time, I will get past this and then I will come out with a decision.
Craig says he'll serve as police chief until June 1st. He did not say whether the department would finish its internal corruption investigation before that. Craig says
Woo!
operations
What up, fellas?
already implicated 13 former police officers with the city's narcotics unit. I'm Eli Newman, WDET News.
The State House Committee is expected to vote tomorrow on bills to set tougher ethics standards for lawmakers. The package has bipartisan support, and it's expected the bills will be sent to the House floor. Representative Andrew Fink is one of the Republican sponsors.
That's the job that we're here to do. When we represent a district, we're obviously setting aside, or should be setting aside, our own interest in the interest of those of the people. And so I think it makes sense that both Democrats and Republicans understand that.
The legislation would require both the House and the Senate to create bipartisan ethics committees. Michigan has reached the first milestone of the Back to Normal Challenge. 55% of Michiganders have received their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, so mandates on working from home will be lifted. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has set a series of benchmarks in lifting restrictions designed to mitigate the spread of COVID-19. The next benchmark is when 60% of adults in the state have received one inoculation. That would allow for higher capacities at outdoor stadiums, gyms, and fitness centers. It's 5:06.
Oh, so it's my fault.
From NPR News, this is All Things
They just made it everybody's fault that don't want to get the vaccine, folks. They gonna blame us.
Supposed to get better in 2021, but this year has already been a long and
Oh,
challenging
no.
year for California Governor Gavin Newsom.
That's crazy,
Led to terrible
folks.
spikes in COVID-19
Crazy, I tell you,
and
crazy.
calling into question his management of the pandemic. And just as the pandemic seemed to get under control in the state, more than 1.5 million Californians signed a petition demanding a recall election. Well, things might be better. Governor Newsom is
out today with news that instead of a budget shortfall, the state has a hefty surplus. Billions of dollars of which will go straight back into the pockets of state residents. We're going to talk more about what that surplus means, as well as this recall election, with Governor Newsom. Welcome back to All Things Considered.
Good to be here. Thank you.
So you were on this program just about a year ago talking about a budget shortfall of something like $54 billion. I want to ask you, what changed? How has the state's financial outlook improved so dramatically in such a short period of time?
Well, we have 41% of America's jobs came out of the state of California in February, 275,000 plus jobs created in the last, or at least publicly recorded months, February and March. And we are seeing a comeback, which we describe as not just a comeback, but we see a state that's roaring back, no longer a $54.3 billion budget shortfall, but projected $75.7 billion budget surplus, which is unprecedented in California history. No other state, I imagine in U.S. history, has seen a dollar figure like that. It's a remarkable, remarkable turnaround.
And yet the state...
Well, Carolyn, I work a swing shift.
That's right, and you're seeing that.
I just seen your comment, and I'm so sorry.
Latest data that we're going to see.
I work a swing shift, Carolyn.
And fundamentally, that's
Friday, Saturday, day shift, and Sunday and Monday I work a night shift.
The nation's first state.
And then my overtime days, Carolyn, is Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So
well, just to be clear, these billions.
That's when I get the overtime.
Back to Californians, you're required.
So it's like, hey, what's up, Mr. Bate?
No, absolutely it is.
No, he ain't in that building.
It's likely.
He could have been, though. He actually could have been. You know that, Mr. Bate? He could have been. Because Yeah Man offered him an application in a lottery. Okay? They only needed so many people. So they gave every single employee an application. All right? We were allowed to turn in a name. And then a percentage of the names were randomly drawn, and the person that got my paper got picked. How about that, folks? And it was offered to Elvis, and he turned it down. He says there's 150 jobs in the corporate world that want him right now. I'm telling you. He's custom made. All right? Custom made. Bertini, I don't know, some kind of Italian boots. Giorgi Bertini, I don't know. I don't know. See, you know, you got to help me out with that. But he's gonna send me to a place to get the custom suit though, so I could be tailor made. Yeah. We're gonna work on that. We're gonna be custom made from head to toe. Yeah, man. I think Yeah Man's gonna get a haircut and start looking good. You know. Is he going to stay on Biden's unemployment? You think that's what he's doing? Do you think that's what he's doing and he's banking it?
It's not just Republicans who are recalling you. About a third of the signatures were from either Democrats or people who did not identify.
You know, that's...
So is at least some of the...
Yeah, but how do you know... Here's the question, all right, Bate? Here's the question. When he applied for the unemployment, let's say he did, what was the job? What was he doing? I get AdSense. It's going to be a 1099 at the end of the year. That's what they give you when you're in the... That's what they give you when you're in the casino and you hit for some big money. They give you a 1099. You know? That's what they give you. A 1099. So, what job would can he say he had? I never got one. What are you talking about, you know? I honestly don't know what those people do that live in their campers. Some of them work online. So in all their free time, you know, they're making videos and this and that, and they live that lifestyle where all they need is an internet connection or a hotspot, and they can do their job. You know, if they're casino at 1099, and that's what you get. Like I said, from YouTube. That's how you report your money. So if he makes $6,000, he got to pay tax on that. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's up, Walt. Yeah, so I don't know how he can get unemployment. You tell me. Where did he work? Nowhere. He might have got a stimulus. But other than that, you know, what's he going to do? What's he going to do?
Let's just start with this massive budget surplus. How much
So,
of that is actually because of Governor Newsom's policies and management?
I don't know how to lie on unemployment to get extra money. I mean, when they nail you because they come after you for the money at a percentage. Trust me. There's people that have scammed it.
Has a very high tax rate on things like capital gains and money from stocks cashed in after companies go public. So what we've seen over this past year, you know, the rich getting significantly
That deli worth $300 million
in the service and hospitality
trading on the stock exchange, but mostly through Chinese. That blows me away, folks. It really does.
The tax system Gavin Newsom inherited, he didn't create it. That said,
Oh, man.
through an unprecedented series of crises.
What a day. What a day. What a night. Ready to go, folks. Ready to go.
Let's turn to this recall effort. Obviously, more than 1.5 million.
Yeah, well, Hunter Biden, that's another story. They wanted to shut Trump up with that. They wanted to shut Giuliani up with that. That's why, kind of wild. When they came and seized all the equipment from Giuliani's house in New York City, they didn't want Biden's laptop, which he has. And actually says he has. So, but, you know, 2024, man, that's all I can say. No. We'll explain, Mr. Bate. Explain. I can sit here for a moment. We got plenty of time. We got 30 minutes, folks. Yes, 30 minutes. Yeah, I know they didn't want it. He offered it. They wanted everything else but that. Yup. Yup. It's all good. Yup. It's all good. It's all they wanted.
That is KQED's Scott Schaefer in San Francisco. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, not me. I don't want to see none of that.
Women to be allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia. She went to prison for doing so.
Oh, wow. Women aren't allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia?
The activist is still having her freedoms curbed, as NPR's Ruth Sherlock.
Wow. That's terrible.
Canada, Lujain Al Haflin's brother Waleed tells me what happened.
Leaky Leak? You mean WikiLeaks? Oh, Leaky Leaks. That's funny. That's too good to be true. Yeah, da, da.
Charges that include trying to change the Saudi system. Her conviction was one.
Yeah, I mean, America's great. Look at all the shit women get to do. Not like I don't think they shouldn't be allowed to do it, but look at Saudi Arabia. They're not allowed to drive. What else aren't they allowed to do?
Saudi Arabia's human rights
Why don't Joe Biden go over there and do something about it?
says that it's significant that she was called to the Interior Ministry.
You know?
not the courts, and that those
Very interesting, folks.
really free.
She is, constantly monitored,
Yep.
summoned, questioned.
The family says the Supreme Court ruled
Green Mile, folks. They're all walking the Green Mile. Sooner they'll be heading in the other direction. These people are going to the right. You noticed that, right? Everybody's heading to the right. Well, Give it time, folks. They'll all be heading to the left. They'll be heading to the left. See, it's starting to trickle down, too.
Saudi Arabia did repeal the ban on
At the Dearborn Truck Plant,
some activists, but others
Mr. Bate, Dearborn Truck Plant, home of the F-150, home of the electric F-150, home of the Raptor, home of the electric F-150 Lightning. Should I keep going? Home to Yeah Man.
You're listening to
Yeah, I know.
Considered from NPR News.
5:18. I'm Russ McNamara. Good afternoon. Coming up next, the president of Afghanistan has proclaimed Tuesday a national day of mourning after a horrific attack over the weekend at a girls' school in Kabul. We'll talk about what's happening on the roadways after this.
WDET is supported by Detroit Vineyards, an urban winery in Eastern Market, crafting wines made from vineyards in Michigan, offering tastings, retail sales, and direct shipping throughout Michigan.
Yeah, I've lived through the pandemic here in Michigan, folks.
Learn more at DetroitVineyards.com.
The winter storms in Texas back earlier this year did a bunch of damage, especially, it turns out, for farmers.
Dill, cilantro, all your parsleys, your beets, your Swiss chard, your lettuces, your celeries. That stuff was completely smoked.
I'm Connor Rizal, Lost Harvest.
I had a good woman to take care of me.
Marketplace, this evening at 6 on 1019 WDET.
The National Republican Campaign Committee has added Michigan Democrat Dan Kildee to a list of incumbents it plans to target in next year's midterm elections. The GOP group is hoping to oust Representatives Alyssa Slotkin and Haley Stevens as well. Kildee acknowledges Republicans see an opportunity with Michigan, but to lose a congressional seat after the last U.S. Census.
Which I find somewhat interesting because none of us know what our districts are going to look like yet. So they're apparently deciding that they're going to come after me regardless of where I run.
Kildee easily won re-election in 2020. WDET Traffic is sponsored by the Michigan Design Center in Troy. That vehicle fire is still out there on the Southfield Freeway southbound after Oakwood Boulevard. 2 lanes are blocked. Traffic is backed up to Rotunda. Heavy delays northbound 75 from Holbrook all the way up to
Northbound 75 to Holbrook.
Patchy frost tonight, a low of 38.
Throw her.
Busy tomorrow, maybe some showers.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Cyber Reason, a cybersecurity company dedicated to helping companies end cyber attacks on computers.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And the cloud. Details at cyberreason.com.
She's terrible.
From Total Wine and More, where in-store teams can recommend a bottle of wine, spirit, or beer for any occasion. Shoppers can explore more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. More at TotalWine.com. And from Americans for the Arts.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Elsa Chang.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly. The president of Afghanistan has proclaimed tomorrow, Tuesday, a national day of mourning. This after a horrific attack over the weekend on a girls' school in Kabul. Dozens were killed, most of them students, young teenagers. The death toll is still rising. And now a bus bombing in southern Afghanistan has left at least 11 people dead. The Taliban has denied responsibility in both cases. In fact, no group has claimed responsibility.
Where's the reporting on what goes on here in the United States, you know?
Violence is rising as U.S. forces begin to pull out. So, who are the players in Afghanistan's instability? Here to deliver a primer of sorts is Annie Fortzheimer, former U.S. Deputy Chief of Mission in Kabul. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you with us. Let's start with the Taliban and these questions. How unified a group is it these days? How different a group is it from the Taliban that was driven from power 2 decades ago?
I think the Taliban is relatively unified, and they are different in that they have fighters who have a great deal of autonomy throughout the country, who extend their rule in different ways, some quite brutal. But in general, they have a a leadership which is keeping a disciplined eye on the entire political messaging of the group. So the difference is that they know better how to play the international community.
When they deny responsibility for attacks like these, should we believe them? How much weight do you give it?
I think in point of fact, the details of the attack point to the ISIS group that is active in Afghanistan. This is the target that they have chosen in the past, and it has some of their hallmarks.
Okay.
But when the Taliban denies it, they're missing the point that their activities have set the stage for ISIS to remain in Afghanistan and to gain power.
And I want to get to the Islamic State in a second, but one more question on the Taliban, which is, how much have they changed from the group that was driven from power 2 decades ago in terms of their ultimate ambitions, in terms of their respect or lack thereof for human rights, for women's rights?
I'm afraid that you can see the answer to that in their behavior in the parts of the country that they already control.
Hazy
Which are,
Hayes!
generally speaking, the more
Hazy
isolated and
Hayes!
isolated parts of
What's up,
Afghanistan.
girlfriend? Did I say it right?
Cases allow prison for girls up to the
I
age
think I
of
did.
12, but in many other cases they don't allow.
I like
schooling
that.
and
Hazy
there's
Hayes.
restrictions, for example,
I know
on
who it
women
is.
Who need help.
I love it. Did I say it right?
So
Hazy
there's a
Hayes?
great deal of ideological change from when they
I
were
think I
in the
did.
90s.
Which
Yep.
doesn't bode well for should they eventually come back to power.
I like that.
And in the entire
That's
country.
cute.
All right, you mentioned the Islamic State and why suspicion might fall on them.
I need to DM
For
you.
this attack
So
on a
does
girls' school,
Coach.
for example. I think Americans, got used to hearing about the Islamic State more in Syria, more in Iraq. How active are they in Afghanistan today?
Well, ISIS has been in Afghanistan since about the time that many of them were driven out of Iraq. So
Purdy handwriting. Yep, that's right.
And they remain active.
Well,
especially
she's
in
a
Eastern
purdy
Front.
lady.
They had a lot
Yup.
of military setbacks in 2019, but they have rebounded over the last year.
So those are two of the players. There's obviously Al-Qaeda, there are others. It's a complicated landscape. To what extent is it possible to know or say, do these groups coordinate or not? Are they allies? Are they rivals? How would you frame it?
I think the most obvious allies are Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and the Haqqani network, which is, in essence, a subset of the Taliban. So those groups, it's documented, work together. United Nations reports and others have shown that Al-Qaeda still retains
Coach was
a
in here
lot of
earlier. He's on his way home.
status with the Taliban. And with regard to the Taliban and ISIS, I think that they have fought each other over territory, but again, they essentially enable each other by stretching thin the Afghan security forces.
So many challenges there for both the Afghan
That's
government
crazy, that
and the
Afghan
US
crap.
as
No, it is what it is.
out troops from the country, but continues to want to
Ah, Mr.
exercise some
Bate.
political leverage there. Thank you very much.
You
for
don't even
sharing
have an
your expertise.
icon, Mr. Bate. You're just a troll.
That is Annie Fortin.
But you know Rosie,
former
you're saying.
deputy
Yeah,
chief of
everybody knows
mission in
Rosie.
Kabul. She's now at the Center for Strategic and International Studies.
Mr. Bate.
Our new
I knew a troll named Mr. Bate. He didn't love or hate.
Brood 10 has emerged in states from North Carolina to Michigan. But cicadas are global citizens. They show up in regular cycles all over the world. And in China, as NPR's Neda Ulabi reports, the critters are symbolically significant.
In ancient China, Neolithic settlers carved cicadas from jade and placed them on the tongues of the dead.
No. If you delete your channel, bring it and then bring it back, it comes right back as long as you bring it back within the time frame. But if you hide it again, I don't know. Reaper Man would know, but I wouldn't go. Just unhide it. Unhide it and just private all your videos. That's all.
By a snake.
Yeah, and then just create another one.
Versions on YouTube.
You obviously understand what you're doing.
Lee says at least one is based on the cicada's distinctive sound.
Oh my goodness, look who's here, folks.
Which means in English, I know.
Look at that guy. He finally showed up for a party.
Let's
Yep.
go with that. The cicadas was recorded in China a few years ago. In folktales, cicadas can be annoying know-it-alls, like the one where a cicada wants to learn to fly. He goes to a phoenix who teaches him to hop from tree to tree. That's lesson 1, basic. Then it's time for lesson 2, a more advanced lesson.
And the cicada said, I know. Chill out. And he didn't show up.
Moral, you'll never learn to fly if you don't show up to class. Real cicadas have wings that are long and veiny, and they leave behind creepy, fragile shells. Jan Stewart thinks they're awesome.
My advice is just look at them in Chinese art. They're beautiful.
Stewart curates Chinese art at the Smithsonian Institution's Sackler Gallery. Cicadas, she says, captured the imagination of nature-loving artists who painted them perched on treetops and sculpted them in gold for kings to wear as ornaments.
Their eyes are huge. Insects with these huge eyes, so you have a sense that they're all seeing, that they're aware of everything.
Those are the qualities that helped make cicadas a symbol of wise leadership in Chinese art. They're lofty, living on trees, and pure, eating only tree sap and dew. They're intermediaries between the dark ground below and heaven. And cicadas, says Jan Stewart, do something else that's beautiful and relevant right now. They remind us, over and over, that new life, regeneration, is real. Neda Ulabi, NPR News.
This is NPR News.
In 2018, Congress made it easier for federal inmates who were sick and elderly to ask a judge for a compassionate release. But for about 150 of them, that change didn't apply.
They are the oldest and most vulnerable cohort of people within the federal prison system today.
Why some lawmakers are re-examining the cases of so-called old law prisoners. Tomorrow on Morning Edition from NPR News.
Morning Edition with Pat Batchelor starts at 5 a.m. right here on Detroit's NPR station.
Hey, Chris Campbell here. Join me for the next WDET Concert at Home series, where I'll host the soul funk female trio Dames Brown. They'll perform live virtually on Thursday, May the 20th at 7 p.m. It's free as our gift to you, our listeners. Register at WDET.org/events.
WDET is supported by United Way for Southeastern Michigan, now hosting a 21-day equity challenge to strengthen our community's shared understanding of race and inequity. Learn more online at unitedwayequitychallenge.org.
WDET Traffic is sponsored by the Michigan Design Center in Troy with 40
He's just
showrooms
standing
featuring
there,
furniture,
folks.
lighting, tile,
He's
flooring,
looking
and
at
center
us.
referrals. Southfield
I can't
Freeway
believe he was
southbound
staring at us for a
Boulevard
minute there.
Hills. That vehicle fire is
There ain't another one,
out of the way.
you know, anywhere.
Traffic's still a bit slow in the area.
Anywhere.
94 eastbound is backed up from trouble to Maple.
Just him. Yep.
Live from NPR News in Culver City, California, I'm Dwayne Brown. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says 44% of adults in the U.S. are vaccinated against COVID-19. NPR's Allison Aubrey says as that number increases, the CDC may update its guidelines on wearing face
I saw that.
The CDC has already given the green light to go unmasked in many outdoor scenarios.
The CDC.
Dr. Anthony Fauci was asked on NBC whether it's time to consider easing indoor masking guidelines.
We need to start being more liberal as we get more people vaccinated. As you get more people vaccinated, the number of cases per day will absolutely go down.
But he says for now there are still about 43,000 cases a day in the U.S., and he says that's too many. He also suggested that going forward, masking could become seasonal, say during flu season, December through
Oh,
February,
come on.
to fend off respiratory viruses.
Stick it, man. I've been waiting for this shit to just go away, period. When it comes to
following a sharp drop in new infection rates,
just
NPR's
my
Frank
job.
White says
Like,
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is encouraging people to exercise common sense as a return to indoor dining and fewer limits on gatherings begin next week.
The government will allow people in England to meet in groups of up to 30 outdoors, while 6 people or 2 households
Right.
Pubs, restaurants, and movie theaters are set to reopen indoors.
I really don't care who the subscribers are.
Spark a resurgence in infections.
You know?
More than half the UK population.
I mean, this is a public platform. It's not. I mean, Facebook I look at different because I choose who I want to see and read my comment, Hazel.
To hug someone outside their household's bubble for the first time in over a year.
You know what I mean? Here, it's anybody. It's the public.
Inflation fears drove investors away. You're listening to NPR.
So you just can't control it.
It's 5:32. Good afternoon. I'm Russ.
You know what I
Mcmillan
mean.
with News from WDET. Detroit's police chief is resigning. James Craig will leave the post June 1st. The Duggan administration and board of police commissioners will work to fill the position.
He's resigning. I thought he was
Craig is
retired.
expected to run in the Republican gubernatorial primary in a potential challenge to Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh, he's gonna run for Matt. He's right. Hey, Bate, are you still here, Mr. Bate? Yeah, the police chief of Detroit's running for governor.
Immunity, which protects police officers from liability in court.
Wow.
To dismantle policing in the U.S.
This is gonna be
I'm all
interesting,
for some kind of
folks.
reform when it comes to bail, but let's use some common sense and judgment. Some people are sociopaths. Some people are violent.
With Detroit one of the nation's most violent cities during his tenure, Craig will leave his position as chief with violent crime on the rise. The Detroit Police Department had 5 non-fatal shootings on Sunday.
He's right. They talked about this on the news this morning. He made the announcement today, I guess.
This summer.
Yeah.
DET's Eli Newman.
Wow.
It's part of the state's newly established independent citizen.
This is just crazy.
Anyone can contribute to the legislative.
Just crazy, folks. I knew this morning, but now they announced it for sure.
Can submit public comment and maps through the state's
Yep,
website.
yep, they're taking off.
For their congressional, Senate, House, but also for their community of interest.
Susan Smith is vice president of the League of Women Voters in Michigan. She says groups like hers are helping people participate.
Anyone who would like some
Parking lot's still half
assistance
empty.
in either
See how the people are walking the other way now?
Again, at the public hearing, please reach out to your local league.
The Districting Commission is holding public hearings.
I got a feeling
I'm
he's gonna run Republican. I got a feeling.
Closures have been postponed for occupied properties until
Because when Tlaib made those comments about making sure you have a black person running the
Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabr.
facial recognition, or it's, you know, because white people can't identify somebody, you know, that's black. He was totally appalled. You know. So in that aspect, yeah, I certainly would say that.
Unoccupied properties are still subject to foreclosure.
Yeah.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from CFP, Certified Financial Planner Professionals, focused on providing holistic financial planning from retirement and investment to taxes and estate planning in a client's best interest. Let'sTakeAPlan.org. And from Procter & Gamble, maker of Align Probiotics, a daily supplement to support digestive health, containing
All right, we're good.
probiotic
Got
strain
my-
developed by gastroenterologists with 20 years of research.
Later.
More at
I already did
AlignProbiotics.com.
my survey last night.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Elsa Chang in Los Angeles.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly in Washington. House Republicans are on the verge of confronting a major rift within the party over just how far they should take their loyalty to former President Donald Trump. The question before them, whether Wyoming Republican Liz Cheney should be kicked out of leadership in the GOP for failing to support Trump and his false claims about the 2020 election. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is campaigning to replace Cheney, and she's got the support of key Republican figures, including Trump himself. NPR congressional correspondent Kelsey Snell is here. Kelsey.
Hi there.
Hi. So Liz Cheney's family has been central to Republican politics for decades. She seems like the last person that the GOP would turn on. How did she wind up here, on the verge of being ousted?
Well, simply it's because she's been a pretty fierce and very unapologetic critic of former President Trump. You know, this is a split that kind of came to a head over Trump's false claims about the election and her support for impeachment after the January 6th attack on the Capitol. She has been unwilling to bow to the pressure from the president, former president, or from other Republicans. You know, she says that this is about the party leaving her and not her leaving the
Oh,
party.
I don't know
And
about
also
her award.
Republicans say they are opposed to her on grounds that are beyond just the clash with Trump. Particularly, they point to her kind of hawkish views on war and foreign policy. At the end, this really is simply about loyalty to former President Trump.
And tell us a little bit more about Elise Stefanik and how she has become the person most likely to replace Liz Cheney in leadership. She's young, we should note. She's just 36.
She became that person because she decided she wanted to run for this. She put her name out there, and she did a lot of footwork and groundwork to shore up the votes to make sure that she could win in the event that there was a vote to replace Cheney. She is a very ambitious and well-connected member, and she has a very deep base of support within Republicans. She has her own fundraising PAC aimed at getting more women elected, Republican women elected, and she ran recruitment for House Republicans in 2018. So she's become prominent very quickly. She's also played a major messaging role in the first impeachment trial for former President Trump. She has support, as you mentioned, from major Republican leaders Republican leader Kevin McCarthy, former President Trump, and virtually every other Republican leader in the House. You know, McCarthy was on Fox News this weekend, and he said that voters do get to decide about the message and politics of an individual member, but he says what's up for debate right now is an issue about who Republicans within Washington think should be leading them.
What we're talking about is a position in leadership. We are in one of our biggest battles ever for this nation and the direction whether this next century will be ours. As conference chair, you have one of the most critical jobs of the messenger of going forward.
And former President Trump put out a statement today backing Stefanik again, saying she knows how to win, and that's what Republicans need heading into the midterm elections when they hope to win back control of the House.
When are we expecting the vote on Cheney?
Well, there should be a vote to remove Cheney at a closed-door party meeting on Wednesday. You know, Cheney could decide to step down voluntarily before the vote, but there's all signs are pointing to there being this, this vetting of people and speeches about whether or not they support her. And while this will happen behind closed doors, it will almost certainly become public. Some members will certainly be happy to have a recorded vote to show their loyalty to Trump, and others will have a more difficult calculus.
Just briefly, consequences for Republicans beyond Liz Cheney.
Well, you know, this vote demonstrates that leaders in the party have identified that their ties to Trump are very important. Utah Senator Mitt Romney tweeted today that this could cost Republican voters, and that may be true, or voters may not be concerned with the inner workings of the GOP in Washington.
And NPR congressional correspondent Kelsey Snell watching how things will play out this week. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thanks for having me.
The FDA now says that the COVID-19 vaccine made by Pfizer can be used for children as young as 12. This will, of course, expand the number of people in the U.S. who qualify for the vaccine. And with us now to talk about this latest development is NPR science correspondent Joe Palca. Hey, Joe.
Hello, Elsa.
Hi. Okay, so explain exactly what the FDA authorized today.
Well, you probably remember back in December,
Oh,
the FDA
boy.
authorized the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for, people older than 16 years old. And even at that time, the company was starting to think about doing tests on younger children, because while children don't get as sick or as frequently sick from this, there still is a risk of getting
Threw
sick
that
from
cough in
COVID.
here, folks.
So they started testing it in young children from 12 to 15, and they applied for this amendment to the emergency use authorization that the FDA granted them back in December, and now this application has been granted, and they can give the vaccine to younger children.
Okay, well, tell us a little more about what the studies show about how safe and effective these vaccines are, the Pfizer vaccine at least, for younger people.
Right. Well, this study was done in about 2,200 or 2,260 people, children, between the ages of 12 and 15. About half got the vaccine, 2 doses, and half got the placebo. Very similar to adults, some people in the study had immediate side effects: a headache, tiredness, chills, muscle pain, fever, and joint pain. And those that had those symptoms tended to have them more severely in the second shot. Very similar to what some adults have experienced. Not all of them, however. A lot of people have had the vaccine without any side effects whatsoever. So the safety profile looked good. As far as efficacy is concerned, it was really remarkably good, because in the trial, no one got seriously ill with COVID. The number was 100% effective in preventing COVID-19. The other thing they did, though, was there weren't a whole lot of cases of COVID in either groups, so they have to make some inferences. And what they do is they look at the immune response, the blood, the number of antibodies that these children produce. And in looking at that, they saw a pattern that was very consistent with something that would be protective. So they were reasonably confident that this vaccine, even though they didn't have a whole lot of cases to show that it would be effective, that it probably would be effective.
Okay, well, that's good news. Do you have any sense if any of these COVID vaccines will be approved for kids younger than 12? And what kind of timeline might that authorization be on?
Yes, the company has already said that it's doing tests on children as young as 6 months. They're going to roll out data coming out from children, they expect from later September possibly, with children down to 2-year-old, and later in the year for children younger than that. And the other thing is that there are other companies, the other vaccine manufacturers are also looking into the safety and efficacy of their vaccines for younger people.
That is NPR science correspondent Joe Palca. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. And on that note, everybody, later, dudes. Gotta go to work.